Oh,
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dead Funny Podcast. I'm your host, Chris. Joined today is my co-host, James, Canter, and JoJo. Guys, the Queen died today. This is not my topic, by the way. It's not my topic.
I was about to say, what a topic.
I have a topic that I told them about off camera that I thought was going to be exciting for us to talk about, and the Queen died today, so we'll talk about that for a little first, but yeah.
is it the Queen dying?
No.
I didn't, yeah.
But man, people are ruthless right now. Jesus, they have not given any fucks about like some kind of time to wait. Like people are just making memes and jokes and talking shit. It's like good.
Somebody was like, I love Betty White.
Oh man, I saw ones where they're like talking about her being a Nazi sympathizer and that she's going to be a new character as a villain in Dead by Daylight and making like little gifts of her going around and stabbing people and killing them and shit. I was like, good God.
Wow.
There's no grace period in today's world. No, sir.
Yeah.
People had a lot of time to prepare. They could see this one coming and get their stuff ready to go before the announcement.
For sure. So, but man, it's crazy. But yeah, so that happened. Another quick little segment before we get into the actual topic, because this one I wanted to talk about. James isn't going to give a shit. JoJo's not going to give, or no, I'm sorry, Canter's not going to give a shit. But JoJo.
It must be Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy VII is doing a collab with McDonald's? Like, what? I don't know if you saw that or not. Apparently in the States, I don't know if they're actually going to do like anything like toy-wise or anything, but their official Twitter account did the happy birthday celebration because yesterday marked 25 years of Final Fantasy being in America. Final Fantasy VII. I'm sorry, 25 years of Final Fantasy VII being in America. And so they did like a post and it showed like the classic scene of him on the bike and behind him was a McDonald's sign. It's like, hey guys, Cloud's going to McDonald's. Want anything?
Oh,
so
weird.
People are really trying, like they like fucking Square Enix, liked it and fucking reposted it and shit. Like they're like, people are like, is this like a real thing? Is there going to be like a Cloud Happy Meal? Am I going to be able to go get McDonald's Final Fantasy toys? And like, I was reading this one comment, I kind of agree. It's like, guys, obviously this is just like a, like more of like a promotional thing. This isn't going to be like a toy thing because it's like McDonald's is the place for families to go have fun. And Final Fantasy VII is a place where people watch all their favorite characters die. Like, I mean, the mode doesn't kind of sit, in the same path. I mean, that's true.
Kumail came from McDonald's, and all my favorite Eternals characters died. The guy who hung out with Athena.
Yeah, that guy.
So it could happen.
I don't know, man. I feel like this is a little bit higher up that list, but it was just so weird because I'm just scrolling through. Gilgamesh, yeah. I was just scrolling through, I think it was Instagram, and fucking like literally out of nowhere, I just see Cloud with this big ass McDonald's sign behind him, and I was like, who made this? And I thought it was McDonald's official post, and I was like, why am I seeing McDonald's? Like, I'm not fat enough that I follow McDonald's on Instagram, and then I see Final Fantasy VII retweeted, and I was like, that makes so much more sense. I felt offended.
They do a lot of Nintendo stuff, like in Happy Meals for sure.
Well, I mean, they just got through Pokemon too.
Yeah, but it's not entirely impossible. They did Sonic,
Yo, you know what? That was the shit back in the day. I'm almost 100% positive every single one of us participated in it. Maybe not Canter because it's Scientology. But back when McDonald's first had that first Pokemon promotion and they did those fucking metal cards, the golden blocks, bruh. I had every one of those motherfuckers, dude. I was all about that shit.
McDonald's is starting to hand out Pokemon cards again, right? Like,
that's what I heard.
And they're definitely doing Pokemon cards again.
They're just normal cards.
Yeah, they're just normal. I mean, you might get a holographic,
It might be like promo, like special. My mom, Happy Meal amount of food when I get McDonald's, so we just have been getting Happy Meals so I can just get so I can get my Kumails.
There you go, dude.
He's got an army of those. I just have a bunch of copies of Drampa. The card made based on the dragon who's also a grandpa.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Matter of fact, if you said that, I got my kid a Happy Meal the other day and it had a grandpa in there too.
Yeah,
so I mean, they're very common.
You do know that you can, at the drive-thru at McDonald's, you can ask And if the person's nice, you can be like, I'm missing this one. Can you get this one in my...
My
No,
dad
it's
used to
just
do that
boosters
shit
happen.
all the time, dude.
They are randomized. You can't tell until you open them.
We're for cards, yeah, true. But
For
for figures
yeah.
and stuff, yeah. Because, I was sent to do that recently.
Oh, totally. I definitely did that at some
A
point.
year ago. Yeah.
I'm looking for a first edition Charizard. Can you just open everything and make sure it's in there, please?
My dad used to do that shit all the time, and like as a kid, I liked it, but at the same time, it was kind of embarrassing because like you would get those employees that are like, "Sir, what comes in the box comes in the box." My dad would be like, "Yeah, that's not how it works, though. Like, if you need me to, I can come behind the register and show you in that bucket where you're pulling the toys out of. Like, you can clearly see what's in the bag.
You
and
can
this
look
is what
through
I'm
the
asking
toys,
for."
yeah.
My dad was that. My dad was so fucking just poor. Like that's just a poor mentality in my opinion, dude. Like my dad used to be the kind of guy that would drive around with like a fucking restaurant, or not a restaurant, but a fast food cup in his fucking car for like a week, and then like clean it out, and then go into that restaurant and fucking, I'm getting a refill. Like that's not how that works, bro. That's not how that fucking works. My dad does that shit all the time. I was like, God damn it, dude, you can't take him anywhere. Jesus Christ.
Like you say that, but it's crazy. I mean, okay, so like fast food's understandable, right? But I've been going to a bunch of Astros games here lately, right? And they sell like souvenir cups, which is like, I don't know, it's like $12, $13, whatever. And you can get unlimited refills. Well, the last time we went, we said this couple, and they were like talking about like if you get like a big bucket of popcorn and you keep that popcorn bucket, you can bring it back like numerous games and just get a free refill in it. I'm like, really? And they were like, yeah. You can also bring the souvenir cups and just get refills. That you can bring your own cup in there and don't have to worry about buying it again. I said, well, fuck, I got 13 of them motherfuckers at the house.
But see, that makes sense, though. You're not paying $13 for a fucking Dr. Pepper
but,
at Whataburger.
Okay, souvenir cup, okay, you get to bring it home. I mean? Cool, right? I never thought about bringing the son of a bitch back, and like I just keep on buying them and buying. I got a shitload of them. And they're like, yeah, you can bring it.
I can agree where it makes sense. Like that, it makes sense. I remember.
Yeah, like fast food, totally. Like if they're $1, bro. They're like literally McDonald's are $1.
Fucking $1, like, exactly. Like those things are not built to last more than the day that you fucking had.
Right.
I mean, they're not designed to be used.
The styrofoam ones, the styrofoam, like the old school styrofoam ones, absolutely
Chick-fil-A.
not.
Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Like
Chick-fil-A. They got new like plastic ones. Okay, I could see reusing the plastic ones, right? Like they're obviously not, but like styrofoam, dude, you get that shit like. Starts leaking through the side, man. Yeah,
that shit was.
But yes, that's cheap, very cheap.
But yeah, no, because I remember my first NFL game I went to was Falcons versus the Packers, and the guy that I went with totally fucking got me big time, like totally fucking got me good. So first off, we had parking. Like the person who bought us the tickets, it was a gift, and they were like very cheap tickets. But the person, but still, grateful. My first NFL game, and it was at fucking Lambeau Field, the legendary fucking stadium. I'll fucking take it. So they bought us like premium parking, but we couldn't fucking find the parking. So if you wanted to park in premium parking but couldn't find the fucking parking, it was like $50. And I was like, nah. And it was one of those. And anybody who's ever been to like a big event, you'll know the further you go, the price just keeps dropping by $10, $10, $10, $10 all the way down. So finally,
anybody want to walk?
Yeah. Well, we just parked in one. It's fucking snowing its ass off. So we parked in the fucking Kohl's parking lot for fucking free, which was a ways away from the fucking stadium. Hiked our ass all the way through the snow right after tailgating, so we're both fucking blitzed up. Hiking our ass through the snow to get to the stadium. We get to this bar that he wanted to take me to, and he's all like, because he knows how I am. Like if somebody's gonna buy me something, like fucking next round's on me. Like I'm that kind of guy. So we get to the fucking bar, and he's all like, anything you want is on me. You want a burger? You want blah, blah, blah. I recommend you eat here. Obviously, prices at the stadium are a lot more fucking expensive for food. I was like, all right, sweet. So he maybe spent, I got a burger, I got fries, and I got 2 beers. I think he spent like $5 on just me. Like, it was that fucking cheap. And this bar is like right across the street from the stadium, right? So it was like $5 on me. So, and the cops were super cool too, because like cops just lined up in the parking lot. So we go out, and I got this beer, and I stop, and I was like, fuck, because open container, right? And so I got this 1 beer left, and I just opened it. And so I go to like start chugging it, and he's like, whoa, don't do that. The cop did. And I was like, what? And he goes, I don't want you like drunk and walking across the fucking road. Just take it with you. You'll finish it by the time you fucking get over to the stadium. And I was like, dude, sweet, good looking out, bro. So we go to the stadium and then we sit down. I was like, hey man, you fucking got me. Let me get you. I was like, you want a beer? What kind of beer you want? And so I go to get the beers. $25 per fucking beer. For a fucking 16-ounce cup. I was like, this motherfucker. Yep. I spent $50 on 2 beers. And he spent $10 on a goddamn dinner. Like, I was like, this motherfucker played me, bro. He fucking knew. He fucking knew. Because I had never been up there, so I didn't know Green Bay yet. And he'd been up to multiple games and shit, so he fucking knew the spots to go and shit like that. I was like, this motherfucker, dude.
I've been to enough games now where you slam a sixer before you even start going to the game, right? Slam your sixer in the parking lot and maybe buy a beer to hold your buzz, right? As long as you can, catch your buzz outside and then just one beer to coast it through.
Exactly, 100%, dude. So, but for a first game, it wasn't that bad of an experience.
For sure. I mean, it's an experience.
Oh yeah, for sure, it was fun.
You won't get fucked again though.
No, not at all. No, I'll be like, motherfucker, everybody's got their own tab at the fucking game. I'll buy you something. We can go to McDonald's before we go to the game if you really want me to fucking get you something, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely a 1-for-1 kind of guy as well, and I always buy the first round.
Yep, fucked me hard on that one. I was like, God damn it. Okay, so the actual thing that I've been wanting to get to. I don't know how I got on this subject, but it happened over this week, basically. These last 2 days I've been looking into it. So, have you guys heard of the actual Video Game Hall of Fame? There is an actual Video Game Hall of Fame, and there's a museum dedicated to it in New York. Which,
that's cool.
I've been planning a New York trip 100% now on my fucking list, like the Hall of Fame is. Definitely going to go there, because there's apparently a hallway you walk down, and they have it kind of like all blacklight lit and shit, and it has every video game system that's ever been created up on the wall, and then next to it an actual copy of it, but it's broken out into all the different pieces. So you can see every single piece that went into the fucking system. I was like, that's cool as shit.
Hell yeah.
So, with knowing how many video games there are, if you had to take a random numbered guess of how many games have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I will give you a hint, it is not based on popularity. It's based on actual achievements that game set for that time. What do you think that number is of actual games of all time? Every game that's ever been created. And we go back as far as fucking like Solitaire.
Okay, I think I sort of loosely know, because that place hasn't been around a long time. Right? Like
I would
say less than 10 years, probably.
Hold on.
But if they've only been there for 10 years, that still doesn't count for the fact that there's been 100 years.
So I think what they do is
they started inducting
baseball
games.
Hall of Fame or whatever is they induct a group every year.
Okay, so like any normal Hall of Fame. Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. So yeah, it is a group of games, a batch of games, but it doesn't look like the batches are consistent. So I will say that.
Okay.
The batches are not consistent.
So when do they start inducting?
2015.
So yeah. So
I've got a number in my head. I don't want to throw my number out there to make other people, if they don't. I don't want to influence.
You can
120.
My number's completely wrong.
All right, 20. All right, James.
Oh yeah.
120.
Oh, 120.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
James. I was at 250, but
250.
I was gonna say it's sub 50.
Yeah,
I would guess
below
40.
50. Okay.
Yeah.
You are the closest. 36.
Jesus.
36 games have been inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame.
That's insane.
So there's one game on this list that when I first saw it, I was like, really? I don't know if that should be in there. But then I really thought about when that game came out and how it just interacted with people who played the game, blah 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 blah, and all the different options it gave you. And then I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense.
Just Dance.
No, Just Dance. But we'll go over the game list, and if anybody wants me to, I can also elaborate, because they actually put down the reasons why it's in there as well. I mean, I guess I can just do it anyway. But so yeah, we'll start 2015. I will do a little bit of a spoiler here, and this only really matters to, I guess, JoJo, honestly. But the fact that The Legend of Zelda got inducted in 2016 and Ocarina of Time didn't get inducted until 2022 is fucking blasphemy. That should have been one of the first games ever inducted. It's the only game. It was one of the only games out there that got a 10 out of 10 from every video game publication? No.
So they're spacing them out. You know, they start early on, and they
2022.
Like
no.
That's, 7 years in. They got Zelda's probably there's probably 2 series that have multiple games in that thing, right? Like it's probably Mario and Zelda, but everything else is one game. Yes.
Do you?
Does
it show like how many nominees there were? I mean, obviously, like in like our inductees or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, how many they had to?
No. I think basically like people get to vote, and then the actual committee itself are mainly looking for games that, like I said, they actually achieve something. Like I don't want to spoil too much, but like for instance, Miss Pac-Man is on this list, right? Yeah. And I was like, so why is Miss Pac-Man on the list? What was so different from Pac-Man? Because Pac-Man's also on the list. What was so different from Pac-Man?
Pac-Man's got too.
Yeah, what was so different from Pac-Man that Miss Pac-Man also had to be on the list? And it wasn't so much that it was the same game, but the game wasn't even made by the same company. Namco made Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man was made by 3 MIT students who were the first students to ever conduct actual unpredictable AI pattern in a video game. So in the original Pac-Man, the ghosts have a pattern. If you memorize the pattern, you could beat Pac-Man 100% every single fucking time you play it. Can't do that with Miss Pac-Man. It's the first game of its kind to ever have that unpredictable ghost tracing with those NPCs.
I did hear that cool Miss Pac-Man was the hardest game, because of that. Yep. Not to say the hardest game, but the hardest Pac-Man.
Because to me, I was like, it's literally a yellow dot with a fucking bow tie on its head. Like, what was so different, that they also, both need to be on here?
I don't know if the arcade cabinet version had it, but I had Miss Pac-Man on the NES, and you could also, there was like 5 different modes for like the levels would be different. You had speed boost mode where you could actually go faster and stuff. It was really good. Really good.
Exactly.
That's maybe why Namco doesn't acknowledge Miss Pac-Man much anymore, because they're mad that they got outdone by 3.
Oh yeah.
It's like in Smash Brothers, you think it's easy. Just you should be a skin for Pac-Man. That's Miss Pac-Man. Put a bow on him. Yeah. Nah. You get different gloves.
Yep, it's nuts, dude. It's nuts. Well, hey, fucking video game history, baby. I'll take it. But so we'll start off with the year 2015. 6 games were inducted in 2015. Starting off the first one with Tetris. No surprise. No fucking surprise.
For sure.
Got it. For sure.
Boring, but yeah.
Yeah, no surprise. Second up, Super Mario Bros. Once again, no surprise. Pac-Man. This one, I was like, when I first found this list, I was like, this game's got to be on here. World of Warcraft. That one's got to fucking be on the list. I mean, that is literally the starter of MMOs. That's the grandfather. That's fucking the longest running fucking game, everything. So MMORPG, that's where we started. Doom, in my opinion, makes sense.
Oh yeah, didn't even think about Doom. Yes,
Doom makes sense. Pong, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's classic. Sure.
Yeah. So then we move on to 2016. We had 6 games, so this one was consecutive, 6 and 6. Grand Theft Auto 3, not the series, but 3. Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto 3's vast open world made it famous, while its mature content made it infamous. It wasn't the first 3D sandbox game to allow players to freely interact with an open virtual world, or even the first game in its Juggernaut franchise, but the 2001 game was the first of its kind to achieve massive mainstream popularity and widespread critic acclaim by appealing to millions of players who relished the freedom to push the boundaries of what traditional games were allowing you to do. So, fucking interacting with cops and doing all the fucking shit with prostitutes and fucking literally everything you want to do in that game. This one actually kind of surprised me just because sometimes I forget this fucking game existed, but I mean, it's popular for its time. The Oregon Trail.
Oh, sure. Dude, yes. That's absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't even play that. I can't even find that game anymore. I've tried to find it. I can't even find it anymore.
They got a new mobile version, I believe.
Yeah, but that's not the OG,
I know, the OG.
fucking...
Yeah.
Floppy disk.
You used to go to a website in the Oregon Trail and bam, you're in the game.
I might be able to find that for you.
Yeah, if you can find that, absolutely. I have been wanting to play that game for years.
I like how the
website for games that are abandonware that just are so old that no one technically can publish them.
Right. Yeah.
I'll just link you to that. I think
you survived for 62 days. Yeah. Stupid shit. That game was awesome.
I like how a lot of these games have pictures of the cover, and Oregon Trail didn't have a fucking cover, so the picture they chose just says "Bad water. Snickers has dysentery." I was like, that's fucking coded, dude. I'll take it.
Yep, I like that.
Next up, Legend of Zelda. No surprise, Zelda made it in. I still think Ocarina of Time should have been the first one in, but fucking Zelda made it in. The Sims, no surprise.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog, no fucking surprise. Space Invaders, no surprise. And then we also have 2017, where 4 games were inducted. So it's the first time we dropped down.
Wow.
Starting off with number 1 for 2017, Halo Combat Evolved. Makes sense. Halo was a fucking phenomenon whenever it came out. And it just...
But Combat Evolved, though?
The original, dude. Halo Combat Evolved became one of the most popular first-person shooter games of all time and redefined players' expectations for the genre. In 2001, Microsoft entered the video game market with its first home console, the Xbox. Halo sold alongside 50% of all systems, leading critics to name Microsoft's killer app a program so valuable that its loss would deplete the overall desirability of the hardware itself. In the era of the PC games dominated the first-person shooter genre, this was the first time a console was able to push ahead of PC, and it was only able to do it because of Halo. So, Halo Combat Evolved, dude, blazed the trail for the shooters.
Halo
that we
3
have
is not on there. I'm going to be upset.
It's not. So, you can go ahead and get upset. It's the only Halo on this list.
I'll catch y'all later.
No, it's not about how good the game is necessarily.
No, that is about competitive gaming.
Oh man. So next up, Street Fighter 2. Yep, that's the most popular one for sure. So that doesn't surprise me. Donkey Kong, which by the way, reading this, and I'll read it here too. There's some stuff I didn't know about Donkey Kong, which is kind of cool. So Donkey Kong,
it's loosely Mario.
Well, loosely Mario, but
yeah.
Well, one, the building that they had in America, their landlord's name was Mario, which apparently is where they got the fucking name from to begin with, which is kind of crazy to me. But the necessity is the mother of invention, and Donkey Kong became an instant classic because of an immediate need. In 1981, Nintendo's fledgling North America video game business faced disaster. Thousands of copies of their company's arcade game, Radar Scope, had arrived from Japan, but it was very clear that this game would not sell in America whatsoever. Nintendo needed a new game and needed it fast, and in a few months' time and an unknown junior employee, Miyamoto, created a game that launched his fame and earned the company millions of dollars, and so was the birth of Donkey Kong. That's crazy. I had no idea about that. That's pretty fucking cool, honestly.
Like months of being away from like bankrupt and shit, and then bam,
or at
Donkey
least
Kong
closing down their American,
yeah,
for sure. That's crazy. And then next up, the only time that Pokemon hits the list, but Pokemon Red and Green hit the list for 2017 inductee. Yep, red and green.
Fuck blue and yellow, huh?
Fuck blue and yellow, red and green. That's what they wanted.
Green came out in Japan. So it's like the original.
Yeah, the OG.
Red and green.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tomb Raider starting us off with 2018. That did not fucking surprise me at all. Tomb Raider has been around for a while. I mean, it's probably the actual most notable first like female lead video game character.
Yeah.
No, it's Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, well,
we were just talking about her.
I was thinking more Samus, Metroid Samus, like it's.
Nah, dude. Well, you gotta think about it though. When Samus first came out, like everybody still thought Samus was a guy. It wasn't for a while until they started giving Samus her curves and shit inside of her armor. People were like, that might be a chick. And then they did Exosuit, and you're like, that is a fucking chick. So
the reason is the original Metroid on the NES is one of the harder games to beat. But if you beat it, you knew, oh, that was a girl I was playing the whole time. Everybody else, they just gave up on the game, so they never found that out.
There you go, guys. Shouldn't have given up. Next on the list, I've never heard of this game, Space War.
Oh, that's like earliest video game, I think, is why that's on there.
No game deserves more credit than Space War for inspiring a modern video game industry during the 1960s. Jesus Christ. America was in a fierce space race with the Soviet Union. Computers helped scientists figure out how to boost real-life rockets into orbit, so it perhaps not surprising that computers also became the means for modeling interstellar combat. So, yeah, you were right. One of the first video games created. So, 1960. Jesus. This next one doesn't surprise me. John Madden Football. Doesn't surprise
Madden.
me.
Yeah, Madden, absolutely.
This next one doesn't surprise me and super fucking excited.
Call of Duty.
Final Fantasy 7. Let's fucking go.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Not Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 7. In 1987, developer Square released a role-playing game called Final Fantasy. Designed by Sakaguchi, this game allowed players to control the four warriors of light in their journey to save the world from destruction. Critics and players alike loved it. 10 years later, Square Enix released the most successful game in its franchise, Final Fantasy VII. Square began developing Final Fantasy VII in 1994 for the Super Famicom, but the rising cost, this is what blew my fucking mind. I actually didn't know this. Nintendo 64 actually came out with a disc player for Final Fantasy VII because they were not going to be able to do it on cartridges. So, as I was saying here, Famicom, but the rising cost of cartridges led them to alter development for the Japanese-only Nintendo 64 disc driver. Ultimately, however, it was Sony's new PlayStation that proved that it was best equipped to handle the game's unprecedented demands. The game required only 3 CD-ROMs on the PlayStation, versus it would have taken 30 discs for the Nintendo 64. 30 fucking discs. Imagine buying that fucking phone book of a game, dude. Jesus Christ. 30
Imagine
discs?
how often you'd have to change the disc.
That's what I said. I want to do that. Me and you are going to do a fucking what if Final Fantasy would have been on Nintendo, and we're going to look at the timeline and try to pick where we think the disc would have actually ended. That's going to be fun. I literally, after I got through talking about that, I think I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, oh, me and JoJo's got to do that for content. Try to fucking pick where we thought the game would have ended.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. But yeah, so obviously not only was Final Fantasy VII the first game of the series, or not the first game of the series, but it was the first one to ever come to CD-ROM, the first game to incorporate 3D computer graphics, full motion video cutscenes, and the first ever video game to use digitalized vocals for Nobu's blockbuster theme, One Winged Angel. It was the first time we actually had vocals in an actual song, or in a song for a game. And the first to be released in Europe, and the main reason why Japanese RPGs became mainstream in America. So, hits a lot of things. I will have to go back to some of our games that we already went through, though. I forgot about this. They have a Did You Know section. And the Did You Know for Final Fantasy VII was, in 2014, publisher Square Enix created a subsidiary called Shinra Technologies to begin beta testing cloud gaming services. I didn't know that. That's pretty fucking cool, though. I'll take it. I'll sign up. Yeah. Let's go see. What was that first year?
Yeah, that disc drive for the 64 did not make it to America.
No.
As I guess it wasn't good.
No.
So it would take so many discs to do anything.
30, dude. 30. That's fucking
wild.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I remember getting like the expansion thing for Donkey Kong on the 64.
Yeah, and that was used for like 3 games. Or barely.
So the Did You Know for Tetris was Tetris contains one of the most well-known theme songs in video game history, known as A-Type in the game, is a 19th century Russian folk song about a peddler courting a young woman.
Okay.
All right.
I did not know.
That's
I prefer Dr. Mario as my puzzle game on the NES.
The one for Super Mario Bros., the very first enemy type encountered in Mario, the Goomba, was actually the last character to be designed. Goombas were originally named Kuribo, or Chestnut Boys in the Japanese version. So
I did know that they're called Kuribos because they came untranslated in the 3rd game. Item called Kuribo Shoe.
Right.
They forgot to change the name to Goomba.
There you go, folks. There you go. Did you know for Pac-Man? According to the designer, the name Pac-Man derives from the Japanese paku paku, which is a term for eating, and that he designed the character by rounding out the Japanese character for mouth. So, whatever the Japanese character for mouth is, rounded that out, and that's how he created Pac-Man, and paku paku means eating. So, Pac-Man, got it. World of Warcraft. Let's see what we got on the Did You Know. In 2007, Blizzard launched a series of television commercials promoting World of Warcraft, starring well-known celebrities such as William Shatner, Mr. T, Chuck Norris, Ozzy Osbourne, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I did see William Shatner,
I was about to say,
Mr. T, and Chuck Norris. I did not see the other two. But yes, I did see those. Yeah. I pity the fool that don't play World of Warcraft.
You fool.
Doom. According to the designer, John Romero, Doom's protagonist remained unnamed so the player could more easily assume the character's identity. That was actually very popular back then because that's something that I went over with Kelsey, is the reason why Link doesn't talk. Because Nintendo wanted the player to feel they were the character. So instead of giving him voice lines, the player could always feel like they were controlling where the character was going versus giving an actual narrative that this is what the character's going to say and that's where it's going to go no matter what you do. So it was actually very popular back then. So that doesn't surprise me. Pong. The first Pong prototype appeared in Andy Cap's Tavern, a bar in Sunnyvale, California. Owner Bill Gaddis complained that it was malfunctioning after only a few weeks, but it turned out the machine was simply overflowing with quarters from near constant play.
Okay.
Sure. That's a pleasant surprise.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a good surprise.
I got money.
Hey, but my machine's fucked up. Well, no, sir, you got $3,000 in quarters.
Empty it.
All right, then.
People won't stop playing your game.
Here's 2 quarters. You can leave now.
This is for Grand Theft Auto 3. The Korea Media Rating Board originally banned Grand Theft Auto 3. That doesn't surprise me. For violence and cruelty in South Korea, but the country's newer games rating board allowed the 10th anniversary edition to be sold in 2011. Yeah. I mean,
so they've chilled out a little bit.
Well, I mean, if you live south of North Korea, you would probably be a little worried about violence and shit too, you know? just a little
true.
Bit. The Oregon Trail. Game players follow an actual historical covered wagon route across the United States, beginning in Independence, Missouri, and ending in Oregon's Willamette Valley. That's pretty cool. For those of you who know, I knew that, but that's pretty cool. It's an actual historic trail. So,
yep.
The Legend of Zelda. Early game testers complained Zelda was too difficult, so creator Miyamoto retaliated by taking away Link's wooden sword, forcing players to seek out the old man in the cave to find it. He did this to encourage players to talk about the game and foster a community. I like that. I like that mentality. Your game's too hard. Cool, let me make it harder. Give me that fucking sword.
I'm gonna hide your first weapon.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. That's pretty fucking funny, honestly. I love, like, because, I mean, obviously the culture's so different, but, I mean, it's like that for so many different video games whenever you hear, like, the Western's fucking sensibility issues with fucking video games, and, like, they don't give a shit over there. They don't fucking care. Like, yeah, we don't care. The Sims. Musicians such as Carly Rae Jepsen, Nelly Furtado, Katy Perry, and Leanne Rimes have recorded songs in Simlish, the emoticon-filled language spoken by the Sims.
Yeah, and like Sims 3 or whatever, you can just Katy Perry songs in the game. Like, you know, normal songs of hers, just they change the words to Sim nonsense.
Sonic. The Sonic character was originally conceived as the leader of a rock band who sported sharp fangs and dated a busty blonde human woman named Madonna. Wow. Poor Sonic. That was a little disappointing, honestly. I was hoping for something cool. I love Sonic. Space Invaders. An inspiration for Space Invaders designed Cities War of the Worlds, the 1897 sci-fi epic by H.G. Wells, which narrates a devastating invasion of Earth by an alien force. So there you go, War of Worlds. All thanks to Stephen King. No, that was Stephen King.
No, that was way before he was born.
No, I'm talking about... No, not Stephen King. Fucking, what's his face? The director. Fucking Steve Spielberg.
Okay.
The
movie.
The redone. Yeah, the redone.
Yeah.
I was making a joke, but I failed.
Okay.
I picked the wrong fucking person, so.
Yeah, gotcha.
Flat on my ass there. Yeah, that was awesome. Anyways, so Steven Spielberg is where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Stephen Hawking, got it.
Got it.
All right.
Oh gosh. Okay. So moving on to the next year, from 2016 to 2017. All right, 2017 we had Halo, and it's Would You or Did You Know? Steve Jobs originally introduced Halo as an upcoming release for the Macintosh at 1999 Macworld Expo, but Microsoft purchased developer Bungie a year later, and it instead became an Xbox exclusive. That's fucking cool.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Cool as hell.
That's fucking cool. I wanted something like that for Sonic. Where's that shit at? Versus this
Yeah,
weird
there's
fucking
there's old,
Madonna
if you
fan.
look into it, there's like prototype Master Chief artwork and stuff from when it was
Really?
going to be for, yeah.
Damn. All right, Street Fighter. Universal Pictures released a live-action movie based on the game in 1994, directed by Stephen E. And starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. If you don't know, you know, it does exist. It's out there.
And there's another one too. It's also not good.
Is it Ming Na Wen?
Legend of Chun-Li. Yeah, Ming Na is Chun-Li.
Yeah, but isn't she also the person who does she voice Mulan as well?
Yeah.
And she plays
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Same person? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff. She's
Yeah,
in
she is.
Star Wars now too.
She's
all over
talented.
the place.
Very talented. Donkey Kong. In 1982, Universal Studios launched a failed lawsuit against Nintendo claiming Donkey Kong infringed upon their trademark for King Kong. Damn.
There.
It's
I
all
love the
because of the
monkeys.
tie. It's all because of the tie. They're like, look, our monkey wears a tie. You know what I mean? Where's King
It's
Kong's
different.
tie at? Fuck is that? Then they go and fucking put like a bow tie on King Kong. Just run around. Shit. Pokemon Red and Green. Pokemon was originally named Pocket Monsters in Japan, but publisher Nintendo shortened it due to trademark issues in the United States and to save space on small screen of the Game Boy handheld. Yep.
Sure.
That is correct. All right, 2018. Let's see what you got. Tomb Raider. Did you know the game's main character originally went by the name Laura Cruz and hailed from South America when designers transformed her into a British archaeologist and then named her or changed her name to Laura Croft. So she was originally Laura Cruz from South America. Space War, the game that none of us really knew anything about besides JoJo.
Yeah.
On December 7th, 1972, Rolling Stones published an article on Space War. Yeah, I was totally alive then. By journalist Stuart Brand with pictures by famed photographer Annie, making the first example of the video game journalism to appear in a major American magazine. That's kind of cool. You know, because back then, if you played video games, you were a fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Did you know Madden's football's top-down behind-the-quarterback viewpoint directly inspired ESPN's Skycam, a wired-mounted camera system first used in 2001 that provides an almost identical perspective to the viewers?
Yep, I did know that.
That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I did not, so that is pretty cool.
Which is honestly the normal side to side is pretty cool, but whenever they do that over the back camera, like you actually see the offense and defense like spread out sideways, like looking like down the field is so much. It's honestly better.
Fair enough.
Because like if you look from the sidelines, it looks like everybody's like really close together, right? Like they're like this big if you look on the screen, right? But when you turn it sideways, and you look at them long, like at their backs, like they're you can see how like there's 10 yards like in between each person. Like, it's like a whole different perception.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We already did Final Fantasy. That was the Shinra Technology. So now we are on to a new year that we haven't got to yet, which was 2019. We had 4 games inducted. First one does not surprise me at all. Super Mario Kart. Who didn't fucking play Mario Kart? Come the fuck on.
Mario Kart, yeah.
And our Did You Know for Mario Kart was Nintendo designer Miyamoto originally tasked developers with creating a 2-player version of a popular racing game, F-Zero, which, for those who don't know, that's Captain Falcon's game. But hardware constraints forced the team to make a kart racing game that would later become Super Mario Kart. So there you go.
Don't you love how like malfunctions and failures
failure become a success? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. Yep. It's awesome stories. Next on the list, also does not surprise me, Mortal fucking Kombat. Yes, sir. Did you know developers Ed Boon and John originally conceived of Mortal Kombat, all right. Originally conceived of Mortal Kombat as centering on Belgian actor Jean-Claude Van Damme, but the martial arts movie star had already signed a deal to star in another video game.
That's the third time Jean-Claude Van Damme has come up in this stuff.
Hey,
Homie was into video games, dude.
Yeah.
he just known for kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, for sure. This next one definitely kind of threw me for a loop the first time I saw it, but then it fucking makes sense. And they have it like on like their pictures of old school fucking computer. Microsoft Solitaire. I mean,
Oh,
one
that's
of the
funny.
first fucking computer games ever. So, you know, centuries old video game here. Microsoft Solitaire originally included a special feature that allowed people playing the game at work to pull up a fake spreadsheet meant to fool their boss. Microsoft removed the boss key feature before its release.
I did not know
That's
that.
kind of
cool
fucking
stuff.
cool, dude. Fucking, oh shit, they're coming. Fucking fake key. It's like, oh, I'm working on
Yeah.
this spreadsheet. Do my work, boss. Go fuck yourself. This game I've never heard of. Colossal Cave Adventure was our last game for 2019.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
The best games fire the imagination, and anyone who has typed commands like get lamp into Colossal Cave Adventure experience how the game could conjure up a world of spelunking, puzzle solving, and treasure gathering with only words. So it was one of those games where like you type the stuff in, and then that's how the game moves.
Right,
Oh, it's like
King's
like a
Quest
Zork.
and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what it looks like, it also came with like a cadet that had like voice and shit with it as well. Yeah. Very interesting looking game for sure, but it is old as shit. Playing Colossal Cave Adventure inspired Roberta Williams to create the first graphical adventure game, Mystery House, in 1980. Roberta and her husband Ken founded and pioneered computer adventure gaming company Online Systems, later known as Sierra Online. I think they're on here for they did the one I was talking about, King's Quest, I believe. I think they're part of King's Quest, which is another one of those type in the words. And
Yeah, I know her name. I couldn't remember what. Yeah.
Well, it's almost next, so we'll fucking get to it. 2020's list. Minecraft. First on the list. Does not fucking surprise me.
Good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good game. Very good game. Many historic landmarks and iconic buildings have been recreated in Minecraft, but in 2014, Simon and Thorbjorn of the Danish agency made Denmark the first entire country to be explored in a one-on-one ratio within the game. So Denmark, the entire country, was built in the game. That's fucking nutty. That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of hours.
There are a few. I've looked into building, like when you build adventure maps and stuff, you can top in like the command line and like literally fill in a section with the block that you want just by topping. But still, it would take a long time, even with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, also next in 2020 was King's Quest, and that's the one I was talking about. And yes, it was done by Roberta and Sierra Online. King's Quest, originally released in 1984, set the standard for graphical adventure game genre and cemented Sierra Online's co-founder Roberta Williams as one of the most significant computer designers in the 1980s and 1990s. The Did You Know was, while in the castle throne room, players glimpsed the flag of Daventry, the country in which the King's Quest takes place, which is a vertical version of the flag of Sierra Leone. This is a pun that the game's publishing company was Sierra Online. Yeah, makes sense. It's just like a little fun tidbit for the Final Fantasy fans. If you're in Rocket Town, there's a house that you can go into, and if you look at the pictures on the wall, it's the producer of Final Fantasy VII. He actually put his photo in little picture frames on the wall in one house in Rocketown. I don't remember which house it is, but you can go in and look at the picture frames and you see this little smiling fucking producer of fucking Final Fantasy VII. That's baller shit, dude.
Dude, if I was a video game maker, I would be doing that all the time.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Put a dick pic somewhere, you know?
I was gonna say like, my big toe or something, but whatever. Yeah, dick will work too.
Next on the list, no surprise at all, Centipede. Yep, that's right. Centipede got inducted in 2020. Did you know, according to the instruction manual for the Atari 2600 port of Centipede, the player is supposed to be a garden gnome protecting its mushroom forests from an insect invasion by blasting them with a magical wand. Did not know that. Did not know that. And last on the list for 2020, also kind of no surprise. I didn't play it, but it's inspired a shit ton of games like it. Bejeweled. Bejeweled made the list.
Oh, yeah.
Designers originally titled the game Diamond Mine, but altering it to be Bejeweled once they noticed a 1980s PC game called Diamond Mines already existed and might cause branding issues. In homage to its original title, they placed a bonus level called Diamond Mine in Bejeweled 3. Fun little fact for the Bejeweled fans out there. I know there's so many of them, especially who watch our content, for sure.
Sure.
Let's get really into Bejeweled content.
Yeah. Start just doing nothing but Bejeweled gameplay on the channel. This
Top
next
5
game...
Bejeweled jewels. 1. Red.
This next game I'd never heard of. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
You've never heard of that?
I'd never heard of that as a game.
I've never heard there as well.
What?
Nope.
Carmen Sandiego was like a TV show?
I heard of the TV show, just not
you
the
didn't know
computer game.
It's a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess first.
And apparently, James, it was kind of a Nancy Drew-ish type game, but it took place all over the world, and so it would be stuff where Carmen Sandiego was this spy, and she would steal shit, and so she would steal outlandish shit like the Eiffel Tower. And so that's why it's on the list, because not only was it very interacting for kids because it was cartoonish to a certain extent, but it was also very educational.
As a learning,
like it was educational. Exactly. Right. So it kind of broke the mold for games like that.
That's cool.
Did you know the original Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego manual states that in the International Thief Loves Tacos drives a 1939 Packard convertible and is called Buffy by the other members of the Villains International League of Evil, which is also spelled Vile. Yeah, Vile. Yeah. I don't know if that's a call to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't know where they were going with that, but that's all the information.
Oh, I mean, it would have been before Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I guess,
Games from like 85, yeah.
Well, fuck you, JoJo. How about that?
I only know it's from 85 because I literally just looked it up. I'm sorry. That's not I didn't know that. That's
not. Next on the list, StarCraft. Once again, not a surprise. In South Korea, household broadband provider Telecom used StarCraft in advertisings to help sell subscriptions to parents. Some concerned that their children spent hours playing the game in PC Bang's local internet gaming cafes. Okay, PC Bangs are called PC Bangs are local internet gaming cafes. Okay.
Keep your kid at home.
Yeah.
Get internet.
There you go. Keep your kid at home. StarCraft, folks. This next one does not surprise me, but the one after this was that one that I started out with. Is like, does that really need to be on the list? Microsoft Flight Simulator. Does not surprise me. That thing's stupid fucking popular. Like, people love that shit. Which, it's I've played it before. It's fun. The original Microsoft Flight Simulator, players could only explore virtual Los Angeles, New York City, Seattle, or Chicago. In the 2020 installment, the entire Earth is at the player's fingertips. That's a little fun, did you know? So, for the next game, Animal Crossing. That's right.
Really? Okay,
Animal Crossing.
Wondering about that.
But then it's like, I thought about it. It's like, who the fuck didn't play Animal Crossing? Yeah, exactly. Who didn't play Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing.
Not to mention when the pandemic hit. Well, James apparently. When the pandemic hit.
Crossing. Sorry.
Dude, even my grandma fucking played Animal Crossing. And
I played Pokemon Go.
And I remember this. So, well, it was way before Pokemon Go. But I remember this because, one, what was really cool about Animal Crossing is that when you bought the game brand new, it came with its own memory card. So you didn't have to buy a memory card. It came with a memory card. First game to fucking do that shit was pretty cool.
Because it took up an entire memory card
worth of space, exactly. And you could have 4 people living in your town with you. So 4 or 3 other people could have on the same save. And I remember my grandma playing, and she got super fucking into the game. And I remember this because her house was right next to mine. So it was like my house, my brother's house, my mom's house, and then my grandma's house. And I would go and, look at the houses because, like, if you go and knock on somebody's house, it will display that they're offline, obviously, because there's no online gaming for this. And it would tell you what their offline message was. And my grandma's, I kid you not, was, if the house is a rockin', don't come a knockin'. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Where people who actually know my grandma, like James, it's pretty fucking fitting. So
that is funny.
So yeah, but man, dude, fucking Rossetti, the pain in the ass of Rossetti, like that was it. Literally, they programmed a robot or an NPC in the game to yell at you for improperly turning off your console. Like that's his whole job. So if you just hit the power button because you were done playing, he would yell at you when you logged back in the next day for just shutting off your console. And it was like for 5 fucking minutes. And you couldn't skip it. You had to just sit here and take this ass whooping from this fucking mining gopher that would just come and fucking yell at you for fucking 5 minutes. It was crazy.
For Rossetti, once they invented the concept of auto-saving, now he has no job.
Yeah. Put him out of work.
Yeah, he just shows up in like random spots now sometimes.
Yep. Put him out of work. That was the first time I'd ever seen anything as far as kappas are concerned. I didn't. I'm looking into like Japanese lore and stuff like that now. Fucking James, fucking Kuzenbo. Yeah, that's what he is as a kappa. He's got that like little pool of water. In the top
kappa.
Of his head.
Yeah.
No. No.
Pokemon are kappa based for sure. Koopas loosely are. And Japanese game developers love a kappa.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say about the pandemic is that's the reason why Switches were so fucking hot during the pandemic, because Animal Crossing, the Switch one, had just dropped and people were buying that shit up left, and that was like one of the most fucking games for there for a little bit.
It's just like celebrities I followed on Twitter were just talking about
Animal Crossing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was fucking a big deal for sure. The Did You Know was the infamous Tom Nook character in Animal Crossing is based off a real life Tanuki, aka a raccoon dog that in Japanese folklore is a shape-shifting trickster representing good luck and fortune. Although all Tom Nook ever does is
bury the lead on the Tanuki thing, which is that they have huge testicles.
Yeah, true. But all he does is just fucking break your balls about fucking payments on your goddamn mortgage the entire fucking game. So, fucking Tom Nook. And then here we are at the last and final year, 2022. And honestly, the only game that surprised me on this one was Miss Pac-Man. We already kind of talked about that. But first on the list does not surprise me, and it is by far James's favorite video game of all time. The one, the only, Civilization. Yep, that's right. Let's fucking...
I knew it was going to be something I had, like, no interest in playing again.
Does not surprise me Civilization made the list. I was actually talking to some people, and I can't remember what game on the list it was we were talking about, but they're all like, oh no, it was Civilization. They're like, really, that made the list? Or no, it was the Carmen Sandiego. It's like, I mean, they said Civilization's like basically like the same thing. I was like, it's not even close to the same thing. And they're like, well, I mean, kids could play Civilization. I was like, there are some adults that can't play Civilization.
Yeah, I can't play Civilization. I can't do it. I YouTubed, I've watched for like 3 hours worth of, and I couldn't do it, dude. There's too much shit going on.
Anyways, so did you know creator Sid Meier found inspiration in early simulation games such as Empire, SimCity, and his favorite childhood board game Risk? And that's how he created Civilization for everybody except for James to enjoy.
Except for me. Yep.
SimCity isn't on here. So,
yeah, just also. The Sims. Yep. Next on the list, we talked about it, Miss Pac-Man. And the Did You Know for Miss Pac-Man was Pac-Man's ghosts Blinky, Pinky, and Inky reunite for this popular sequel along with one new friend, Orange Ghost Sue. That's right.
Sue instead of Clyde.
Yep. Because Clyde was the red one, right? from the.
He was the brownish one.
Or brownish one.
Okay.
Yeah. They switched out the other
I want to
three.
say the red one is Inky.
Nah, the red one's Blinky, the blue one's Inky, and then Pinky is Pink, and then it's either Cloud or Sue is the orange.
I'm embarrassed. I didn't know that.
Pinky is pink.
Yeah. Who would have thunk?
It's the only obvious one, honestly.
Okay, so Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the one that I think should have started off the fucking induction list. Released in 1998 for Nintendo 64, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was the first of the series to feature 3D graphics. Led by Miyamoto, Ocarina of Time has set the new standard for games with its freedom of movement in a three-dimensional world that felt expansive and vast, laying on the foundation not just for the action games that would follow, but for the gaming industry as a whole. That is right. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is a fucking GOAT. It's the only game to ever get nominated. Well, I know it's one of the few to ever get a 10 out of 10 from every video game publication out there. The did you know is players must travel through time using an ocarina, a real-life woodwind instrument whose peculiar head or okay, yeah, sorry.
Peculiar?
I was trying to say pelican because it goes straight into bird. So peculiar head. I was thinking pelican head, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Peculiar head, thank you. Bird head shaped inspired its
bird
name.
shit. What the?
Inspired its name, which in Italian means little goose, which I did not know the little goose part. That's kind of cool. I feel like they just threw in a bunch of extra shit in there. They didn't need to. They just, hey, by the way, ocarina means little goose in Italy. So, I just said that versus making me look like I can't talk on fucking YouTube. So, all right. Anyways, for the last game that was inducted into 2022, we have Dance Dance Revolution. Does not surprise me.
No Just Dance, huh?
No Just Dance. Or the one that me and you played. I don't remember. Which one was the one that we played?
That was Just Dance.
No, I don't think it was Just Dance, because Just Dance was like
what was it for?
One. It was for the Xbox? Yes.
Dance Central, probably.
Dance Central, yeah.
Dance Central.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad, yeah.
Yeah. Dance Dance Revolution. In 2011, Alexander played the game for 16 hours, 18 minutes, and 9 seconds, breaking the previous Guinness World Record for the longest Dance Dance Revolution marathon. He played the game for a solid 16 hours. Man, dude. That motherfucker.
Dude, how tired would your legs be?
Oh, you'd be dead. Jesus.
Oh my god.
I can't even think about doing that. Like, fuck that nonsense. Lose some weight, son. You get that workout in. But yeah, man.
Well, mine don't even work for 16 hours a day. You know? Shit.
Close. I get close.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool, man. Like, to actually have, like, a fucking Hall of Fame for video games. Because I knew I'd heard about it a long time ago back whenever Final Fantasy VII got inducted, because obviously that popped up on my feed, and it was like,
yeah,
it got inducted same year as Tomb Raider. And I was like, that's fair. Tomb Raider's a fucking solid game. But
well, now we don't get to go to New York anymore.
Fuck that, dude. I'm still going.
He wants to see it in person.
What I want to do, god damn, dude, if Dead Funny, let's dream here for a second. If Dead Funny made a shit ton of money, I would love to fly us all out to that fucking German arcade where they have that pain game. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a game that actually hurts you as you're playing it.
Oh, yeah, so you hook you up to, yeah.
So one of them is...
It's like a stimulator or whatever.
Yeah, so you have your hand on a joystick, and I don't remember what the thing of the game is, but depending on what you fuck up, and it's like a little table, and one person on one side, one person on the other. What you can get on your side causes pain to the other player. And so one is that the little heater heats up, and it not burn, but it actually does like heat up really bad to where like you have to remove your hand off. The other one is that it will send a electric shock to your hand. And then the last one, which is the most painful one, is it has a little leather belt that whips up the side and whips the shit out of the top of your hand. And like they do it enough, like people have shown like where they actually have like a cut and are bleeding from the whip, just pow, 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 pow. So I'd fucking love that. Like
that sounds like a good time, actually.
Record the shit out of that. That'd be fucking great.
I'm used to the heat, and I used to play with electric fences for fun, so 2 of them don't bother me.
James's face was fucking priceless right there. So unfazed by what was just said. It was pretty great.
It's just trying to register what was said.
Oh, man. That was fucking funny. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this podcast. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you got some games that you think should have made it into the Gaming Hall of Fame, you can let us know. We can't do anything about it, but you can fucking let us know.
Yeah.
You can tell us a did you know about it, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, give us a did you know about it. There you go. If you want to put a game down and below, I need a crazy fact that is not that well known. Some of these blew me away. The Sonic one, even though it was devastating, blew me the fuck away. I didn't know that apparently who made Sonic obviously had a fucking crush on being a werewolf and dating Madonna at the same time. So that was weird. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and end this episode of the podcast. Like, subscribe, comment. Best way to support us is to share. Can't say that enough. Also, we have a merch link if you want to pick up some cool t-shirts. October is coming back around. Will I be re-releasing the Halloween logo t-shirt? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I keep it exclusive. It was up for that 1 year. Who knows? But, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. See you next time.